Hello and welcome to Wyverns and Weirdos, a D&D podcast set in the world of Fierlor. It is the start of November. I think I messed up with my projections and we forgot to mention the past couple of episodes, our wonderful Eddie's birthday.
Happy birthday to me for last month. It's never, ever, ever too late to find my PayPal link in my bio.
Yes. And so as their birthday has passed, he does have his birthday inspiration, as has become standard. Any other particular plugs outside of the usual?
Happy birthday to all the November babies out there, including my mother.
Okay.
Who doesn't listen to the pod yet. But there's always a chance. Also, that will give my uncle, who has been watching and listening to the pod for the past couple of months, a real little kick. So thanks, Paul. Happy birthday to Kat.
Yeah. So, and of course, the usual plugs are, we have the Patreon and the Redbubble if you want to support the podcast. But if you can't afford to do that, or you don't want to, we're not going to force you, obviously. We're not going to jump out through your computer screens. And but if you can't afford to, but you still want to help out, like, just share us, share the podcast, give it a like, make sure you're subscribed. That's the kind of stuff that podcasts live and die off of. So, without any further ado, let's jump into another episode of Wyverns and Weirdos. So, where we last left off, the party explored the lair of Lord Kira Embren, mostly hampered by the gravity corridor at the center of it all. They discovered a large automaton of sorts that Newman was able to, with some help from Anya, partly disconnect some elements before they were called away by a distressed call from Caius over the messenger rings. So, when they got back to the entrance where Bertie and Caius had been standing guard, they returned to the site of several dead Wizards of the Ruins guards, as well as the dead, lifeless Bertie. After a moment after a use of a wish spell through Ross's Ring of Three Wishes, Bertie was brought back after a ritual undertaken by the party, and a conversation that Bertie had with Fethus in Arcadia. No, not Arcadia. Arborea. All these A's. And we came back just as life was breathed back into Bertie.
Well, first up, I guess, I've got 3 things. So first up, anyone who took the time away from Bertie to notice during the time taken to complete the ritual, and I guess it should be noted again that, like, even though it was a wish spell, it would have taken a little bit of time for him to come back to life, I guess.
Yeah. So it would have taken about half an hour to 45 minutes.
Yeah, so I assume most of the party were there for most of that time. Maybe, I don't know what Sam was doing, but basically the party were focused on Bertie. They don't know where Caius has gone, I presume. So like during this time, looking over the scuffle, if anyone was having a look, and the dead, because again, as you mentioned, there were sort of like mooks everywhere. Anyone who would have looked would have seen that Bertie's backpack was lying on the ground near him and sort of flung open. And near the opening of the bag is just a huge pile of ash. On closer inspection, amidst that ash and completely unharmed, might be some flower pressings or a heavily creased pamphlet on the Church of Phethus or a small dried leaf from a young oak tree or things like that. Maybe on very close inspection, someone might have also found some small charred scraps of paper, nearly completely illegible, which indicate that the ash is, or was, Bertie's spellbook, because the Pact of the Tome Warlock's book turns to ash and stays that way when they die. So just a fun little thing to point out, I suppose. So secondly, Anya, Bertie's alive. You know this. More importantly, with your contacts, you're seeing this. But his magic feels different. It's still Bertie. It still feels like him. It's not a Zaf situation, probably. But his magic has changed drastically from what it felt like nearly an hour ago. And on top of this, you probably also feel this, I guess. Bertie is buzzing with both the coldest and most searing energy you felt from him since you became sensitive to magic. So just a little thing Anya specifically would notice, considering she's got extra senses.
Yes.
Anya, at like when Bertie comes to, she probably, without even realizing it, flinches away a little bit. And might almost shade her eyes a little bit to it.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. In that case,
I will add, it probably, part of it almost reminds you of something. It's something almost more akin to Athena's magic.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
There's maybe a couple of other people who you've encountered this kind of weird mix with, but it's this
Caius.
It's no, not even Caius. It's this. Roll me an Arcana check.
Okay, first official roll with my non-spawn Dispel dice, my new Anya Dispel dice, which were a Christmas gift circa 2019, because I backed the Kickstarter on the first wave. So
thank you, Eddie.
Yes,
check them out. They're really great. Sorry,
great.
Zoe, you weren't in the cast then, so you didn't get any.
It's fine.
What was the check again? Was it Arcana? Yeah, no, that's a 4.
A 4, yeah. No, it's not. Yeah, but that I will say it's almost like a mixing of two of more typical feels for magic, but you can't really place it other than it's maybe more akin to something you've experienced around Athena.
Yeah. Okay.
Fair point. So yeah, Anya kind of instinctively retracts back a bit. And yeah, I guess thirdly, Bertie. So this probably all kind of happens very quickly. So Bertie is kind of dazed for a few moments after like taking that first breath of his second life, just sort of gulping in air. Sitting, I can't remember if he's sitting or standing. I think he was floating at some point during the ritual. I imagine he's standing at this point. Standing, probably still in this like pool of his own dried blood. Too much of it, which is probably pretty surreal. He's snowing again, as he often does, but wasn't so much as he was settling into life before. He's definitely snowing now. His hands are probably instinctively clutching where the killing blow stabbed through him, but there's no trace of that now. The wish spell is finalized, and I believe Newman mended his clothes and everything, so it's just that's how he's kind of finding himself. And I guess as life sort of settles back into every fiber and nerve of his body, everyone close by can just see everything else surge back through him as dazed eyes widen with panic, and he looks around counting 1, Anya, 2, Ross, 3, Newman, 4, Sam, 5, 5, and then he's scrambling to his feet, or he's trying to. Let's have a look. So with my negative modifiers, that's a 6 in acrobatics, so I guess he just scrabbles to his feet.
Yeah, I think it's so probably only a 5 to actually get up, but yeah, with the negative 4 penalty for just coming back from the dead.
Dying. So he just kind of like just hauls himself across the room. Even if people try and grab him, he will just, which I imagine people probably might, I don't know. But regardless, like, Bertie just doesn't say anything. He's still just breathing heavily, but tighter and tighter and more frantic as he looks over the bodies of all the slain enemies and the debris from the fight, and then just, I believe he mentioned Caius' discarded shield, which Bertie sort of like half collapses, half throws himself at to cradle, and then by that point, and this could be happening like in seconds, at this point that time goes back to normal, I suppose, and he kind of just like turns back to everyone else, no matter how close or how far away they are, and he's just frantic. He's like, where is he? Where is he?
Bertie, look at me. Look at me. Ross like did try and stop him and would have followed after him and is with him. It's just like, Bertie, look at me. Look at me. It's okay.
No.
It's okay.
Where did he go? Where did he go? Where did he go? Where's Caius?
Bertie, breathe. Breathe for me, Bertie.
He is breathing. Not very well and very tight still. And he kind of just like, he's still just like huddled there on the ground, and he will like shrink away if Ross does approach him to touch. He was like, where did you find him? Did you see where they took him? Where's Caius?
Anya stands up because I think she was still sort of slumped on the ground. From what I imagine, sorry, I'm trying to wrangle a cat who keeps stealing my dice. From what I imagine, because she was the last person to sort of say something, and the whole preparation of the spell took so long. I'm imagining that final sort of word, and that would have been in the final bit, but I don't really know how the spell works. Either way, she would have been probably still quite close to Bertie. And she would have been like fairly shocked and sort of winced away from Bertie a little bit when Bertie floated up and then changed and slumped back down. So she's kind of had a moment of shock, and she sort of pulls herself up to her legs, like to standing, and walks over to Bertie, and she grabs Bertie by the shoulders gently, but like semi-forcefully, like she doesn't let him shrink away from it, because she looks him straight in the eyes.
He tries to.
Yeah, she looks him straight in the eyes, and she's like, Bertie, Caius is gone. He's not dead. We don't know where he is gone, We don't know who has him. We don't have any information that can help you. But Caius is gone.
Bertie is going to try and struggle out of Anya's touch, and probably both away from Anya and also away from
she
Ross,
doesn't,
who's at the same
she
time.
doesn't resist that. It was very much she needed to look Bertie in the eyes and say that, and she didn't think that would happen if she couldn't have him sort of face her, especially with her knowledge of some of Bertie's reactions. So once she sort of said that, she kind of steps back and
I guess for that flash moment as well, Anya would notice Bertie's eyes do widen a bit, in momentary recognition, because it's oh, your eyes, you're wearing the contacts, but he just completely just pulls back, and then just basically scuffly back a bit, I guess, away from both of them. As that happens, then kind of just winds up tired, no, this can't be happening. And he kind of hunches himself tighter into himself, I suppose, behind that shield. And I guess he's probably, again, this is probably happening a lot faster than how I'm describing it, because everyone's probably trying to react at the same time at once, and but he's clearly trying to regulate his breathing to stop himself from hyperventilating, but he's still just shaking, and then just I guess regardless of if someone talks to him at that point, he kind of just reaches behind himself as if he's reaching for his backpack, but it's not there, and then he kind of pulls his hand back to look at that, and he's got the braces of panache, which usually have these sort of glowing pink gemstones in the center that focus his magical energy, except they're just dull, because when you die in D&D, you're unattuned from all your items. And I guess that delayed response from having been told by Anya, from having Ross trying to reach out to him, that's when everything kind of starts to hit Bertie more, because he tears up almost immediately, I guess, and just starts to sob.
So probably during that whole escapade, Newman would have gone and picked up all of Bertie's things as well, because I think you mentioned that the open backpack with all the items scattered around would be on the floor, so he would have picked that up and sort of would approach Bertie slowly and make it a gentle rustle as he kneels down to Bertie and sort of holds the bag out in front of Bertie.
Thanks, Newman. Thanks. Sorry.
If you do look at Newman, he does breathe. He's got a giant smile on his face, but his entire face is saturated with tears. So he is I think you might need some of these. I've got a pretty good understanding of what happens with what we just did. So, if need be, we can take a moment to rest, but I think we should get out of here soon.
No, we need to find out what happened. We need to find out where it went. But he kind of takes the backpack from Newman when he hands it to him, and just kind of looks in the backpack and then looks around, and then again he's very, and again people could be talking to him, he's not after that point he's not paying attention again. Is there any dirt around? I think it's a stone floor, isn't it? I believe, Darby. I can't actually remember.
Out here is a stone floor.
That's fine. So again, just not focusing on anyone at this point again, but he kind of instead fumbles with a latch on the inside of one of the braces, which true to Newman's design, flicks out like a small ink pen shaped attachment, which Bertie kind of scratches very briefly across his palm, and then uses that to make the red sigil mark of Galda's speedy courier on the ground. And he's just like completely like just not paying attention to anyone at this point. And again, he's like breathing faster and more tight again. And he like reaches into the little blue hip bag he has tied to his belt, which he just takes out some gold coins, which he just throws across the sigil. And before pressing both of his palms into the sigil to summon the air spirit that comes with that spell.
I will just quickly say, because you're mentioning that this is happening while people might be trying to speak to Bertie. Anya, after she sort of told Bertie what had happened, she takes a step back again. And I think if Ross tries to sort of start talking to Bertie or explaining or trying to comfort Bertie again, she'll probably, even if it's just, it looks like Ross maybe takes a step forward to sort of go to him again, she'll just very gently place her hand on Ross's wrist and just shake her head. And she might even use message as in the cantrip, not through the earrings, and just be like, give him time.
She does not respond.
Yeah.
She's just standing, keeping an eye on Bertie as he does this sigil. Which, just very quickly, at some point during the 45 minutes of the ritual, Ross, who spent most of it when she wasn't talking to Bertie's floating corpse, leaning against Sam's leg, sitting on the ground, would have at one point kind of tapped the back of his hand and been like, can you have a look around, see if you can find any clues about where Caius went?
Of course.
And I don't know if he would have gotten time to tell her what he found, but while Bertie is doing Speedy Courier, Ross would maybe take a step back and go to Sam about that, but we can finish the Bertie thing before that happens. That roll looks like it wasn't great, so sorry, Caius.
Jeez, Sam, come on.
No, it was a nat 20.
He knows exactly where Caius is.
That's he can't get that even with the nat 20. But he can get detail, like he can get an idea of what you've faced here. But that will come up in good time.
Interesting. So I can guess then back bullet time. The air spirit, so he's done the sigils to do that. The air spirit turns up, has a little chest as normal, and Bertie kind of reaches into like he's got a little vest just like into the pocket there, and he takes out a nice smooth rock that Caius gave him more than a year ago, and then like he's still just like not paying attention to anyone, and he's just like shaking and like frantic. He like briefly just kisses it before handing it to the spirit, and like Anya would at least be able to hear this. He just says, "Take this to Caius," and then bids the creature to disappear. With Galda's speedy courier. So I don't know.
This entire time, Newman's just been blankly staring at that whole ordeal. And then once it's over, he might he's not going anywhere. He's just sitting down on the stone floor next to Bertie.
Just double checking. So Speedy Courier does go between planes. However,
does?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
At least it doesn't seem to
Handy.
No. When you cast it using a spell, when you cast it using an 8th level spell slot or higher, you can send the chest to a creature on a different plane of existence from you.
That doesn't sound encouraging.
So, I guess almost immediately the courier reappears with the chest, with the sewn still in it.
Ooh, okay. When it returns, I guess Bertie just curls himself up into like just flops on the ground, like in the fetal position, just starts to wail. That's what he's doing.
Okay.
You go.
No, you go. Okay. Oh, babe. At that point, like, Ross, like, she was like taking a step back as if to look at Sam and talk to him, and then she kind of, as unthreateningly as possible, goes back over to Bertie and just like many a time when they've been hanging out at his house and had like a deep and meaningful, she's probably going to just try and form some kind of physical contact, even if it's just like a hand on his knee or like on his shoulder, just to let him know she's there and just help him ride it out.
Probably at this point he does respond to that and kills it a bit, but he's just like having a big cry, I guess.
Yep.
Anya, sorry to jump the gate. This is only going to be very quick. I completely forgot that you had something, Jake. I'm so sorry. But Anya, she just watches silently. For a moment, she reaches for a place on her belt that isn't there anymore. And then she turns around, picks up Caius's shield and brings it to Bertie and sort of places it in front of him. And she doesn't say anything, but she sits cross-legged in front of him with the shield between them and just places a hand on the shield.
And Newman will actually go to get up and put a hand on Bertie's shoulder, but then will actually pace away and like go towards the edge of the room, facing away from the rest of the party. He might make his way back towards Sam or something, but he's actively not looking towards the party at the moment. Would Newman know what it means if the messenger doesn't come back? Or if the messenger does come back?
Roll me an Arcana check.
26. 26.
Yeah. Yes. Like you've looked into many spells. What the practicality of replicating them in some mechanical way is. Some are better lines than others. This one is probably a bit beyond you, but it is one that you recognize, known as Golder's Speedy Courier. It typically takes an incredible amount of magic to be expended to allow the... So the courier will typically return either if it has a return message provided by the target, or if it couldn't locate the target. It typically, to your understanding, takes a great deal of magic to get it to another plane. And yeah. Yeah.
And if the addressee is deceased,
that is also a possibility. So on another plane, deceased, not properly understood by there are a variety of reasons why it could return almost immediately. But
yeah. Well, then, yeah, he's definitely going to make his way over to Sam then. And yeah, his first course of action will be asking Sam if he's found anything, and if he hasn't, Newman will assist with the utmost urgency.
Well,
but that can happen when it happens.
So he responds to you. It seems like a few of them survived, as well as the beasts that they brought. They last I heard, they were only experiments, not ready for use, but they must have finalized the creation of they call them the Mage Slayer beasts. To my knowledge, there were 3 varieties. They're adept at taking on magic users and aiding to eliminate them. And Bertie, you hearing that kind of in the background, flashback to the thought of there were 3 such beasts that you encountered that were part of this group that basically ambushed you and Caius. There was a almost either canine or feline like quadruped with a strange tail with an eye at the tip of it, that was splotched blue and red in color. There was a almost humanoid, large humanoid creature that was yellow, darkening to browny orange at the end of the extremities, with a snake-like head and several strange snake-like mouths across the torso. And there was an almost something a green with kind of inward patches of a kind of dull purple flesh, almost somewhere between like a gorilla and a dog in appearance. And yeah, these creatures had ways of reversing, nullifying, and absorbing a lot of the attacks that you did against them, and even the magic that you use to heal yourselves in some cases.
Yeah, not great. It was not fun. Yeah.
So, are there any remnants? Is there any one of those Mage Slayer beasts here? Like, is there a construction somewhere lying limp on the floor, or?
No. So all the bodies here are humanoids.
But nothing mechanical?
Nothing mechanical, no.
Cool. Well, this probably wasn't the work of who we were after. Otherwise they would have used more mechanical ones, but it sounds like these Mage Slayer beasts are possibly theirs anyways, so I don't know how we got found out, guess that doesn't matter at the moment. I'm gonna go have a look outside, I think. And he will, unless anyone objects, he'll just go towards the front and like poke his head out very stealthily, maximum stealth. At the slightest hint of a sound or movement out the front, he will just abstain from doing so.
Okay.
Anya, very silently, not even alerting Newman that she's doing this, she very quietly raps on the shield twice, looks and nods at Ross, and it's just like this look of trust, and then follows Newman, but just quietly and at a distance, just to make sure he's okay.
So, the two of you then roll me stealth checks, please.
Oh, how about I use the new die? Well, lucky. I'm using lucky. I'm not going to use the new die.
Anya got a 32.
That's
Anya got a 32.
Of course.
And Nero probably got a 2.
I got a natural 1, and then I got a natural 5. So what's that?
This is the Eddie gift. He's like, you cannot roll higher than Anya, so therefore, you must
so
roll
that's
1.
a 23.
23. Okay, so you managed to keep to like the shadows and the corners, the two of you. Anya, a lot more easily than Newman, but yeah. You're kind of able to aid each other in it. Well...
Anya's not alerting Newman to her presence. At all.
He probably wouldn't even notice your presence if he tried.
But if she can assist without him knowing, she will do that.
Yeah. Do you have the eyes in still?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She hasn't taken
so
them out yet.
yeah, Newman, roll me, I guess, the perception with advantage.
Um, 22.
22. Okay. Yeah, so you see there are small like groups of guards operating out and about, and there are a couple of them that you see with these beasts going along with them. That match the description that that match the description that I gave Bertie, that you don't recognize the descriptions, but you are able to guess that these are those Mage Slayer beasts.
Alright. And there's no sign of Caius or anything like that? No signs of battle out there?
There's a brief trail of kind of metal dragging along the ground, as if a pair of metal boot heels were being dragged along. You get the impression that whoever was in those boots was probably unconscious as they were being dragged, with the amount of force in there, rather than kind of kicking and screaming and struggling. But eventually that kind of goes, that trail kind of comes to a dead end, and you imagine they probably used some form of magic to get elsewhere.
Right, and these guards outside? Are they patrolling, dispersing, or congregating?
They seem to be patrolling.
Okay. Cool. Well, yeah, Newman will make his way back inside then. Does he accidentally trip on Anya? Who is invisible on the ground?
No, I would imagine that even if he was in danger of doing that, that Anya would probably get out of the way.
She would. She can see you coming, so she will get out of the way. Like, she just very quietly sort of shadows behind Newman and slips back into the room behind him.
All right. So yeah, Newman's going to just mention that there's guards patrolling outside with what looks like to be those beasts you were talking about, Sam. So we either need to be very cautious or we need to find another way out.
Does anyone have another way out?
Ross, who has been like trying to comfort Bertie this whole time, just kind of looks over her shoulder and is like, I can teleport us, but thought that got messed up in here.
Might be a risk, yes.
Anya, from the doorway behind Newman, she pipes up and she's like, we could look for another way through the passages, the hole, the floating, the gravity well.
As Anya begins to speak, there are hands thrown as Newman quickly jumps, hair stands on end as he gets into a karate pose.
Cool.
You scare the absolute shit out of him.
Anya makes a dexterity save. And that's a plus 17 now. Am I correct?
I was just going to let it not hit anyways because...
That's a 21 because it's a plus 17 now and she rolled a 4.
Yeah, because
it's not a plus 17 now because of her.
Because you are within 10 feet of... yeah. You're in 10 feet of a paladin. And yeah, so it would
you didn't have to say why.
Yeah.
But
which bumps it up.
She handily ducks under it, and kind of gently grabs Newman's wrist, and I guess she kind of looks to Ross and Sam and Bertie, and she's like, Newman and I are quiet. We can look for a way out and come back. Is that... I don't want to call shots here, but we could at least try and find somewhere where magic might work.
Ross looks as if she may cry. And she's just like, but are you sure we should split up again?
That's why I'm asking for a buddy.
I do still have the ability to cast Seeming a couple more times to help us blend in.
No, I do not want to split up.
If we want to take the sneak through the city route, I can maybe disguise us as some guard retinue.
We can always come
Anya.
back here.
Yeah. Anya, she nods. And she's like, so we've got looking through the passages, going through the city, or risking magic that might go wrong. This is just the options we have.
I know. But we need to get out fast. I say we sneak through the city, and if things turn sour, we teleport immediately. If that's all right with everyone.
Magic works in the city.
She is looking at Bertie. I will make a note of that.
Yeah, and during the space of time where Newman and Anya were sneaking out to see what was going on as well, he was like quite hysterical, but he has kind of like he's still sobbing, but it's a lot quieter now. He's very clear, like to Ross, at least, who was sitting with him, like it's very clear he's trying very hard to rein himself in, I guess. Just breathing very deeply. He's still kind of just like lying at that same like point, but he kind of like takes a deep breath in and just nods. Yeah, we shouldn't stay here.
It's best to regroup. Get more information. And do what we can then.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. Okay. And he'll sit. He tries to sit up. He doesn't look at
She
anyone
helps
else.
him.
And he's still just like, got his little backpack next to him, and he's just holding onto the shield. But he doesn't look at anyone else. That's what he does.
Yeah. Ross looks at the group and is like, is this our plan?
As long as we're together, I don't care.
Sam,
Boss.
you know what to do.
So, just to clarify, we are going with the seeming plan?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yep.
Yes. And Ross is gonna try make sure everyone stays as close to her as physically possible in case we have to do some ill-advised magic.
Yeah. So Sam casts a spell and you all look human, Karasi. None of you look like yourselves, and you're all dressed in what you recognize as the garb of the guards. You do notice that there are slight variations to the uniforms that each of you wear. So Bertie and Sam would be in similar kind of sort of more movable armor with wand holsters to the side. Newman would be in a more heavily armored getup, and then Ross would be in an unarmored getup with a a wand to the side, and Anya would be in a very lightly, very movable armored getup with a couple of weapons on her person. Just to represent, just in case things go south, or in case things need to be considered. He's gone with the kinds of uniforms you would wear based on your skill types.
Keel.
Fair. But he is very quiet, but he has like, oh yeah, okay. While Sam's going around to do that, he does very obviously reach into the little blue hip bag that he has. He takes out a wand, which especially Anya, if she's observant, which she is. I think like Ross has seen flashes of it before. Anya's felt some magic from Bertie before. She very clearly would feel the same thing where he gets a little wand, and like it's just kind of like he's not even like looking at anyone while he's doing that. It's just while Sam's going from each person. He gets like that wand and he just like taps it to his temple, and you just like feel like that energy, like that bad and unhappy energy just kind of like just doesn't dissipate, but just like he's suddenly a lot more poised and a lot less hysterical, and a lot more relaxed. Just as a fun little thing that you would know. But yeah, he's very quiet now. He's just kind of like anything he kind of will just grab the backpack, shuck it back on while Sam's sitting up steaming, and he is still holding the shield.
All right.
There we go.
So, as you go out into the street, rather than a stealth check, can I get everyone to roll me their choice of either a deception or a performance check to try to appear as guards?
Darby, thank you so much for blessing me on this day.
Darby, can Anya still just roll a stealth check? Because she does not intend to appear at all.
Yeah, you can do that.
She has no intention of pretending to be anyone. She was just gonna dip.
I will just say, Darby, for this extra blessing, I'm choosing performance because that active feat means I get automatic advantage for pretending to be someone else.
Nice. Newman's feeling okay, not great, but he's looking around at everyone else to see if there's any like sweat dripping off their face or anything like that, or any forms of agitation. Is there anyone who is looking very unsure about themselves?
You lose track of Anya. She rolled a 32.
What? Oh my gosh. I mean,
if anyone looks around and looks a bit panicked for her, she'll like sort of touch their wrist or whatever, reveal herself to them. That's not even the max she can roll, by the way.
Like, Sam's got this. Sam is used. Like, Sam knows like the marching orders and the way to look like a Wizards of the Ruins guard.
Mechanically, but he doesn't need it. Appearance-wise, obviously he's not with it. But yeah, he seems a lot more calm and collected all of a sudden, though.
Don't forget you've got that -4.
I know. Yeah. I actually rolled well for this.
Okay.
I guess he doesn't really see anything out of the ordinary apart from Bertie, which he's going to keep an eye on Bertie. But yeah, he's just going to follow Sam. Yeah. Follow the leader at the moment.
To confirm rolls, so Anya was 32 on the stealth, so keeping to the shadows outside of the group itself. Bertie, what was your total?
So a dirty 20 on deception.
Nice.
So I have a nice deception score. I then have a -4, but I rolled an 18, so yeah. Excellent.
All right. Newman?
23 on deception.
Nice. And Ross?
That's a performance of 35.
Nice.
Sam was
Anya's
also...
immediately sus that Ross is a traitor.
And that's
Just kidding,
not
just
the
kidding.
highest she can roll.
I should technically give Sam advantage for this because he was method acting this part for years. he rolled pretty well, but like just...
Ross is using the Meisner technique, baby. Methods for losers.
So, I mean, quite possibly, because Sam, even with advantage, well, you had advantage as well, but Sam was a 34 total.
I'm the winner, baby.
Damn.
So, are you telling me Ross is better at pretending to be a guard than Sam is?
I think your charisma score, your charisma modifier is one higher than his, so I think that means you rolled the same thing. You rolled a 17 for your higher?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so you both rolled a 17.
Hey.
Just you have that magical bonus to you.
I chose the wrong person to become an undercover spy from that one university class, you know?
Yeah, quit your job, Sam. Oh, wait, you already got fired. Sam.
It's what always makes all of us feel better after a party member dies and another one goes missing, and then the party member comes back to life and has to go through trauma. It's just taking a giant dump on Sam, you know? Or two.
Anyway,
this is how you make friends, Sam.
Yeah, this is how we all become better friends. So
anyway, before Sam manifests into my room and kills me, how do we go? Do we sneak safely?
Yes, it is quite easy to do so. And you manage to get back to the Concord's hideout fairly easily. So, what would you like to do upon reaching the tavern hideout?
Find out what the hell happened. I would like to do that, please.
In what way?
Ask.
Anya probably is alongside Newman on this one, and whenever it's safe and the first convocation person, like, you guys probably still haven't sort of seen Anya but know she's about, Newman probably goes up to politely talk to one of the convocation members about, hey, shit went down south, what happened? And Anya sort of steps back into notice and is like, what happened to the intel we were given? They were not meant to be there. We were meant to be safe.
Who arrived?
Kira's guard were close. And then our party was ambushed. I understand that this is not the fault of this organization, but we lost someone today because of bad intel that wasn't followed up.
It is the unfortunate way of intrigue that sometimes intel is bad.
Anya literally just turns around.
I apologize.
And storms away from this person.
Newman also does the same, and he's probably going to butcher the name because I always get them mixed up. But the first thing he's going to do is go find Fred Swarthy.
Teddy.
Damn it!
I was thinking about it. I was like, Caius Pegasus is probably here.
Yes.
Anya while Newman's doing that. Does this function as a normal tavern as well?
Yeah.
Or yep. She goes up to the bartender and is immediately like, rooms now, and then sort of catches herself and she's like, apologies, sorry. I need 2 rooms, a room. I don't know. We just need somewhere. Please.
Promise has arranged for rooms for you and your companions. And the barkeep passes along 5 keys.
Yeah. Anya takes them. She's like, thank you. Sorry.
All right.
Bad day.
News travels inconsistently, but we did just receive report of a capture.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry for your...
I can't.
Of course.
We'll leave it at bad day. And Anya turns and walks away from the bartender and sort of back to the group.
Is there any food, like, just out in the open? Let's say a fruit basket or croissants by any chance?
Not so much
pastries?
not so much out in the open. You could ask for some food, but...
Is there anything like on the counter or behind the counter or...
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, there's bits and pieces of, like, standard fare.
Alright, well then, yeah, let's say Newman just puts... 3 silver. He slams 3 silver on the counter and just grabs an apple and goes, is that enough?
More than enough.
Okay, and then, yeah, he'll leave and go find Theodore. Which I'm guessing is outside as a donkey?
Yeah, so there's a basic stables attached to the tavern that Theodore's been set up in. And yeah, you're able to find him fairly easily.
Newman's just gonna go up very slowly and sort of grasp around the neck, patting the mane, and sort of just slump down with the apple held up above his head and just press up against Theodore's legs and stay there for a long amount of time.
Yeah. There's a concerned, understanding look on Theodore's face.
And if anyone wants Newman, that's where he'll be for quite a while.
When Anya sort of returns to the others, she kind of seems a little bit like she's on autopilot. So there's like literally no sort of emotion with everything she's doing, and it's probably almost a little bit nauseating to look at because she is moving in a way that is very different from how she usually would. Almost more graceful, more calculated, more aware than you've ever sort of seen her, even when she had the contacts previously. Almost like she's an entirely different person, but not. Like, it's the way she is sort of walking and standing makes her seem like she's being an entirely different person. And she's like, Promise has arranged for rooms for us. I have the keys. Revari, I don't know what the protocol is. If we need to do a status report or something to Promise or
Sam and I can handle that.
Anya places a key in Ross's hand, and she's like, we're still going to have that talk.
I know.
Okay. And she also turns to Sam, and she kind of looks at Sam for a while, like a little bit longer than comfortable, and just sort of searches his face for a moment, and then nods and passes him the key. And she's like, "Good job."
You too.
And then she turns to Bertie and she's like, I'll help you with your things.
Like the whole time, like once he was very like focused on sneaking, but the second that they get back to the base, he kind of again looks like he's on the verge of like a panic attack. He's trying to push it down now because he's returning now to this space that he was at about 2 hours ago or something. So he's just gone completely quiet. But he kind of like just nods to know. He's like, "Yeah, that'd be good. I'd appreciate that."
If Bertie lets her, and she approaches like very, very gently and very differently from back in the back where they were.
Yeah.
She will like very gently sort of place a hand on the side where he's holding his backpack and offer to take it for him. She does not go for the shield at all.
Yeah, no, yeah. Good. So Bertie kind of like flinches a bit, but then he will like it's kind of like his like eyes are snapping back and oh, that's the thing that's happening. And he's like, and he will hand Anya his backpack and then like nod appreciatively.
She'll take that and sort of sling it over one shoulder, and then she very gently, and if Bertie at all sort of gives any sign that he doesn't want that, she'll thread her fingers with his and start sort of leading him. But if he shifts away from it, she just passes it off and maybe touches his wrist and starts walking.
He will let her. He does like for a moment do that kind of like that little like half swallowed gasp you do when you're upset. But then he kind of like tightens his grasp on his hand and then will allow her to lead him.
Cool. She gives Sam and Ross a nod, and then starts leading Bertie up to the rooms.
So the rooms themselves aren't too fancy. They're decent rooms, but they're they're functional. They are comfortable enough, but there's nothing necessarily special about them. I
guess Anya will lead Bertie into one of the rooms and gently place his things down. And she'll close the door and sit Bertie down on the bed.
You let her.
Yeah. And she looks around for a moment until she sees maybe a blanket or something. And she just places it gently around him.
Excellent. He does tear up, but he just kind of like knows, thank you.
She sits there for like a little bit, very quiet, and she's probably taken her hand back now, and she's wringing her hands a little bit. And then she turns to Bertie and she takes like a really deep breath, and then she looks at him and she's like, I don't know what to do, Bertie. I'm not good at this. And I should note, actually, once she had gotten back to the room, and it was just her and Bertie, she stopped moving in that sort of very odd way, and she started moving like herself again. But she's like, I'm not good at this. I don't know how to fix anything. I don't even really know how to feel. I feel empty. She's still looking at her hands at this point. She's like, I should feel happy, right? That you're here. Or scared for him, or scared that this happened. Or sick, or nervous, or elated. Mournful. I feel empty. Losing someone, I should know the right things to say to you. I should have the right advice to give, some platitudes about how it gets better, or that the hurt will dull with time. Or maybe I should have some pretty lies that will make you feel. But I can't. And I can't. And not with you. I don't know what the right thing is to do or say, because nothing ever feels right. And I've never wanted to understand how to be more than this moment. All I can give you is honesty. We don't know where he is. We don't know if he's alive, and we don't know what has happened to him. And it hurts, and it sucks. And Bertie, it's not going to stop hurting. You'll carry this with you for more time than you and I could even comprehend. She looks up to him, and she reaches out a hand and places it on his wrist. She's like, but Bertie, please don't carry it alone. I'm asking as your friend who loves you dearly, who understands the pain and the hurt and how fucking awful and hard this is. Don't do it by yourself. You don't have to, and I don't want you to. And she gives his hand a squeeze and leans forward and gives him a kiss on his forehead and goes to stand up. He can stop her if he wants.
He does. I think also, like, while Anya's saying this to him, he's just very, like, he hasn't schooled his face, he's not looking super blank, he is looking like you can very much tell he is upset, but he's trying very hard to just not say anything because, like, that's that tipping point. But I think probably by that point, and like, yeah, again, he has teared up as well. But yeah, he's been that same kind of quiet. He does, when she like kisses his forehead, he closes his eyes, and then he does open them again, and yeah, grabs her wrist as she turns. Like, thanks. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't know what to say either. So I don't feel empty. I feel everything all at once. But I guess I do feel empty. So I get what you mean. And as you said, I don't know what's happened. He does kind of like his hand like shakes more, is the like holding her wrist.
She
think back what he is. Yep.
When he sort of did go to stop her, she sat back down with him, so he's not straining himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He like put the shield down. He kind of like just draws his knees up to his chest on the bed, which is easy because Bertie's very small. And he looks especially small right now. And he's like, you know how we found out? A couple of days ago, I did mention that went to get the Pegasus. That was one of the trips we went on. That was in Arborea. That's a place you can travel to. I don't know if you've been there or if you've thought of there. I don't know if that's where she went. But
can I roll something for her to have heard of it?
Yeah, it would
She's
probably be
pretty
for you religion.
non-denominational. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Oh. That's a 4.
It's like, I don't care.
She's only heard of it within the capacity that you guys went there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, that's we traveled there. I don't know, nearly a year ago, I guess. A while. I don't know. I can't even remember now. Well, that's where we got the Pegasus from. That's where I went again. When I died. I woke up there again.
Bertie.
And I was alone. And I was on my own that time. For a while, anyway. So I talked to someone and got called back, so thanks for that, I guess. It was weird, I guess, that silence. just me. I don't know what to think now. I saw Fathers again. My oh god. He was there. We had a talk about a lot of things. I asked him if Caius was alive. He said he was. I asked him if it was okay, and he said nothing. So, I don't know what's happened since then. That's all I know now. So, I don't know what to think either. I know what it, yeah. Jeez, it must have sucked for all of you guys. I really screwed this one up, I think.
Bertie. Anya, she kind of
Sorry.
something passes over her face for like a moment, and she kind of has to shake it a little bit. None of this is your fault. It's fucking hard, and I know you won't believe it. Maybe you won't ever. Maybe there'll always be a part of you that will think that it's your fault. But it is fucking not your fault.
I know. I know. It's their fault. I was going to talk about this after now. I don't know. I made a bad call. I guess that's all. I was already too soft back with Soph and Thar, and I know you said back then that you thought I'd make the best leader. I never was one. I'm not one now. This is stupid and Ross and Rook's fight. My stupid decision. Well, I don't know. You know what happened. I guess I've paid for that. I've died over twice all at once. You know what's stupid? I'm kidding myself even now. I wanted to imagine back then I was making a sensible call, asking you to take care of Ross and Newman and Sam in there, because I was worried about them. I mean it. I trust you to look after them. I just made that call because I was worried, because I could tell Caius was, and he would have just pressed on anyway, and because of that... I don't know. I know, you're right. It's gonna be hard. I've been working a lot over the year. Trying to be better at me and how I feel.
It doesn't.
It's just really hard.
Easy,
yeah. No. It's real fucked. Basically.
I have two, as you know, and right now I think part of feeling empty is me trying not to think about what I said before we parted ways. When I first investigated that room, that it would be an easy ambush. That it didn't feel right.
Yeah.
And so I understand, because I'm trying not to blame myself too. Because if I blame myself, then it gives you valid reason to blame yourself. And I know that this is not your fault, just as I'm sure you know it's not mine.
Yeah. I know you're right. I just need to find out one way or another what's happened, I guess. I can't even remember clearly all of it, but I can remember it all sharply all at once, so... I mean, because it's wizards. They're fucked. We gotta stop, but we already had to do that. So, and you know, if he's still alive, then I have to get him back. Because who knows what these assholes might do to him? If it's like with Rook, because I love him. We can't have a laughter if we're apart. We've barely been apart this past year. I have to get him back. He needs me. I need him. And you know, we all need each other. And no,
Anya, she doesn't really sort of say anything, and I don't even think she realizes that she's doing it, but she starts crying.
Yeah.
She doesn't say anything though. Yeah.
I don't know. It's fucked. But you're right.
I don't ever want to give anyone the wrong advice or do anything that will make things hurt more, just because I don't know whether what I'm saying is right. But you have a focus, and whether that's good or bad, that's something.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And when
you're right,
that's
I
not
already
there,
did, but
you have us.
it's not fair. I know, and I know it's not the same. What happened to you?
Bertie.
Sorry.
It's... This isn't a pissing contest.
I know. Worst
I
God.
could say the ways in which both ways are different and better and worse in either way, but I don't think that will make either of us feel better.
You're right. Yeah.
I'm going to speak to Ravari and Newman and see if we can regroup for a couple of days.
Yeah, no, I think I need time. If we can spare it. I'll be ready in the morning, but...
No, Bertie. With this, for you, it's time.
And, yeah, but he kind of like scrubs at his eyes, like, thanks. I appreciate it. I don't know. Try talking to Festus. I don't know if I can find out if he's still alive. That's all I need. I'll fight for every last one of the wizards. That's fine. We're gonna do that anyway, so that's fine. Just something to work with. But I guess yeah, alright. Something wild seems to kind of he looks up at Anya. I presume she's still wearing her contacts so she can see this. Yeah, so something
She hasn't removed them. She's been very sort of almost overly attentive with everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So he's still teary, but he kind of scrubs his eyes for a moment, and then kind of he's something wild seems to kind of flash behind Bertie's eyes for a moment, and his energy kind of changes a bit. You can feel it just momentarily. He's like, "You're right, though." And for a moment, he kind of smiles in a way that doesn't suit him at all. And he's like, "You're right. Because we'll sort stuff out. And they'll pay. I'll find out who's taken him away from here in one way or another. And they'll pay. Every single last one of them will. That's a promise. And I can't do this without him, but I will. Because I've got you, and I've still got Ross, and I've still got Newman, and Sam was there. And, I don't want to do this out without him, but I will. I've been to hell and back again, and I've killed a god. These fucks are nothing. They'll get what's coming to them. And just for a moment, just for a very visible moment, as Bertie kind of gets more wound up, Anya would see those galaxy lights in his green eyes spark with an intensity at the exact same time that the leafy sort of antler-like twigs that sprout from his head, which Anya would never have seen. Well, she's very visible of this now. She'd be like, lots of things to take in. But,
she's like, holy fuck, it looked like this the whole time.
Oh my god. Okay. This little antler-like twigs that sprout from his head just burst into this puff of flames. And the snow around him just immediately dissipates to steam, just for a moment. And then the snow is back, lighter, and the flames are gone. But no leaves have returned. And those twigs glow with embers, like a warning or a promise, I guess.
Anya looks... a couple of things flash over her face in very rapid progression. So there's a moment of surprise, a very quick moment of fear, which, not fear for herself, but just general fear, and it then very quickly switches to the same moment of recognition that she had with Ross earlier that day, but different.
Interesting.
And the next sort of look on her face is determination. And she says to Bertie, she's like, I think things are going to change. And I think you know better than anyone that...
Yeah.
That change, good or bad, happens and has. So, anything you want from me, anything you need from me, just let me know.
Yeah, actually,
anything.
I need time. But I got one dumb thing. I need you to get me a cloak or a coat or something that doesn't stand out. Like, and he gestures to himself, this does. I keep making that this was this. I thought it looked really cool, but it was this. Well, you know, Caius and I stand out. Could you get something like that for me, or get Newman to build something? Oh, I don't. He kind of like waves a bit ago. He's like 3 days ago, when everyone found out about. How do you feel? Caius suspects this. Newman was talking to it for some reason. I think he can understand it. Can you get him to tell it what happened? That we'll find out what's gonna. Yeah, I don't know. Shake up on everyone. But yeah, if you could get something like that for me so I don't stand out anymore, that would be good. And he kind of like reaches into his hip pocket and just like pulls out a coin purse, I guess.
Anya snorts and is like, put your money away, Bertie. You know I owe you like a year's worth of rent.
Oh boy, we're saying that now. He kind of like tries to like nudge her on the side. It's like obviously he's trying to be over jovial.
Trying to overdo it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, just this once.
Bertie, one last thing.
Yeah.
When magic is still something I'm learning, and what we did back there is different from, I guess, when we called out, did you hear what was said?
I don't think he did, technically. Would he have, Darby? Like the soul might have felt something. I don't know. That's something I'm curious about. Darby is pondering. Putting on his thoughtful DM face. I've never actually looked this up.
Roll me an insight check. I think would be the
insight check. Okay.
Because it's kind of you're almost using insight on your own memories in a way.
Well, unfortunately, that's an 8 then. Which is appropriate for Bertie.
You can remember.
That's fine. There's like not. Anya's not looking for an answer one way or the other. She just is curious.
You have vague recollections of vague echoes calling out to you.
I felt something. I can't remember properly. Sorry. It's all hazy from then.
I'm going to say something that is not very like... You deserve to know, even though you should already, that your friends love you very much.
I know. I love all of you too. Sorry for scaring you.
Anya, like, now knows she is crying and is crying again. And she squeezes Bertie's hand. She's like, I have to go see a man about a horse.
Okay. Well, thanks. And Bertie like takes her hand and presses it to his forehead. And then kind of like gets another like funny emotional look over his face, and then like cool. Thanks for the chat. I appreciate it. And thanks for staying at the room and everything. And I guess for keeping Ross and Newman and Sam safe.
they were worried about you. And this is all I could do. So
Yeah.
just if there's anything else.
I'll let you know. Make sure they're not alone too. If people need to talk to me, I'm fine. I need to lie here for a bit, I think. Oh god. Maybe order a lot of alcohol, possibly. Oh my god, actually, can you ask Newman if they can, like, bring his alchemical jug? I really would like that alchemical jug, like, right. Not right now, like, you know, but, like, later. That would be great, actually. Not mayonnaise, though, please, my god. Do not let him activate that beforehand, like, the wine aspect. Or the ale, like, whatever. Just a lot of it would be great. Yeah. I'll be okay.
I'm going to have someone bring up some water. And then later.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Bertie. And Anya stands up and she leaves and she very quietly closes the door. And she does go downstairs and go to the bartender and be like, can you send an unseen servant or someone up there with, like, just a huge jug of water, please? But we don't have to upheat that.
Yeah. So I think that is probably the place to leave it for this episode.
See you next week, everyone. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I hope you all enjoyed
guys.
crying, y'all.
Yeah.
Sorry for listening.
See you next
Bye.
week.
See you next time. Ow. I will say, during that, I went through, during one of the heavier RP moments, I went through and worked out domain titles and associated powers for you guys within the Concord.
Excellent. Fantastic.
Supreme
Bertie
leader,
will be a
please.
potato.
Yeah.
That scares me.
Potato. There are two types of
I'm-
people in this world.